Anyone here actually a medical student? Nursing? Hello, nurse.
Wow. Yeah. That's how you turn the phrase.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Uhl, and today I'd like to talk to you about a few things. But first, that could happen to you, right? Has it happened to anyone in here? Yeah, a few times, right? I rolled my car in November, like 6 or 7 times on the highway, tore a big divot in it, right? And I got out just fine, but sometimes that doesn't happen to people, and you get injured. You know, I had an axe in my car. That was poor planning on my part. It got buried in my front seat. Point being, you could get injured, you could get a head injury, you could get a spinal injury, you could get something cut open. Not... Yes? Yes, this is the classroom. Thank you. So anyways,
I'll take that off your time, don't worry.
where was I?
Well, you ordered a pizza.
Okay, so,
It can happen anymore.
yes, point being, it can happen to anyone. Not only in a car crash, but in your daily life, different events could happen. And not just major injuries, but also minor injuries. And one of my big things has always been, people a lot of times don't necessarily know what to do in the event of an injury, whether a minor one or a serious one. And you could really do yourselves a lot better by taking some sort of class on the subject. So one good example is there's 500,000 deaths in the U.S. from blood loss, according to the statistics that I saw. That's just from blood loss, and I believe that's pre-hospital care as well, right? After hospital care, there's other variables involved, including the lack of blood supplies at hospitals. But that one, you know, a lot of people die every year from simple, they just sat there and bled out, right? And one of the realities of that is it's really easy. You just pack some stuff in the wound and you slow down the bleeding or stop it altogether. Point being, you can educate yourselves on these matters and actually manage to help yourself or help someone else just a little bit more than otherwise able to, right? Another issue is spinal injuries. Spinal injuries and head injuries, things like that, you can really harm yourself when you get them. And if you don't get proper treatment or if you move too much, one of the mistakes that I made in my car accident is I just got out, you know, and I could have had a really bad injury. And I was moving around a little bit until someone was like, don't do that. He's like, because even though I have a lot of experience with this sort of thing, it was a little weird when it actually happened to me, right? So, and again, you can also take a look at other injuries, you know, broken ankles, you can have compound fractures, things like that. And if you educate yourself a little, then you can help yourself out. A number of these, we've had various shootings across the country, that sort of thing, and one of the problems with those is that a lot of times the police have to lock down the area, and they don't get to actually treat people until everyone who's going to bleed out has already bled out. That's a problem on their part. That's another issue. But if you're there and the situation's already resolved itself, if you know what to do in certain circumstances, you can help out. There's a lot of gun injuries aren't actually that lethal if you treat them appropriately to begin with. Because you don't want to end up like that guy. So, my point is that a lot of people don't know these simple things, don't know how to properly apply a tourniquet, don't know how to properly cut off bleeding when you're in an area that you can't apply a tourniquet, don't know how to properly, you know, mobilize a limb, and if or don't know how to do CPR. And there's classes available all over the place, and my personal thought has always been that it would be a great thing in high school or maybe a part of a college class or something like that, where people would actually go over the basics of it. Because, again, knowing the basics of it can mean the difference between life and death, and for yourself, or your family, or friends, or just someone you don't even know off the side of the road. So, I like to take that to heart. You figure everyone here has a job, right? You have OSHA standards, right? Now, OSHA doesn't require that you actually It's like, that's just safety standards at work, but do they actually run you down the course of, oh, this is what you do in this circumstance, or this is what you do in this circumstance? They don't. So think about all that knowledge that you lack. Instead, it's just, oh, let's call 911 and stare at the person who's, maybe dying. That's probably not the most appropriate course of action. Either way, even if schools never institute a policy where they actually start teaching that sort of thing, or even it's never part of a college degree or something like that, and even if you don't ever really have any contact with that sort of thing, consider educating yourselves, consider going out and taking some classes, and do what you can. So, aside from that, hopefully next week, or this week, later on this week, I'll teach you all, or I'll tell you all about some actual places you can take those classes.